Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the ISCA Super Cup Series. It's the All-Star Race this week, live from North Wilkesboro. I'm Joe LaCastro, Jolo, to you, up in the booth right now with my good friend Big Al, and it's Kobe down in the truck pushing all the buttons and making all the dials turn to bring the image straight to you through the fiber optic cable right now. Big Al, you looking forward to this week's race, my friend?
Hey, Skippy, I'm with it, man. Been waiting on this one since, well, last week. Excited to be here this week in beautiful, sunny North Carolina, Joe. I'm back in my home state, which it makes me feel great. Qualifying is not yet started, still under warm-up, man, but I'm telling you, as I'm stretching and shaking off the would-be's here, this is something that looks like I woke up in a different time zone. So those of you that are tuning in, don't freak out just yet. I know it looks a little bit different than what we're used to doing, but Joe's going to explain all of that to you here, Ricky T.
I am indeed. Well, this is the All-Star Race, and so we're going to be doing a little bit of a different format, I think, for this week's race. We're gone are the usual cup car that we drive around, and this week it's going to be mini stocks. And I think there's going to be we're not going to be getting any championship points for this race, but you'll still be able to get some penalty points, so be careful there. So there's one of those things. This race is looking to bring out the best of the best right now in the ISCA, and we'll see who can come out and have some fun and do some racing around 200 laps of North Wilkesboro. Here's the
200 laps.
race.
That's when it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go right ahead, buddy.
No, I'll be quiet. It's not my turn.
Okay. Well, it's going to be shortly because the keys to the race are here. Why don't you go ahead and break those down for us, Al?
All right, I guess the biggest one, the first one right here, have fun. That's right. You won't hear us say that a lot, but it's the night. It's just a fun race. So it's just one of those run what you brung, going to bring it down, going to tone it down a lot a bit, and just going to go out here and have fun. So don't forget that. Number 2 is going to be Rubbin is Racing, but they say Rubbin is Racing. And that just means that. It's going to go back with number 1, have fun, and then Rubbin's Racing, but you just don't want to rub them too hard. And then bring home the bragging rights, because that's about all you're going to get tonight. There's no bacon. There is a bacon. He's actually down there racing. But we're going to just say bring home the bragging rights. That's exactly what it is. He who runs best and finishes first wins this thing, and you'll be able to talk crap until next year when we come back to do this same thing over again. So those are the keys to the race, Joe.
Hey, all right. It is fun to be able to say that you've conquered a different strategy or you conquered a different discipline than everybody else has, and we don't get many chances to do it here in the ISCA. So gotta relish them when you get them. Let's look at the conditions right now, though, down on the track. We got a half-mile oval right here. We're going to break things up at lap 50, lap 100. So we're going to have a little bit of some caution, some competition cautions, as they're known, where we're going to re-sack things up for our 12-car field here. We've got 5 sets of tires on the other side of the wall, just in case they got to use them. 80 in the air, 115 down on that hot track right now with wind out of the northwest, 8 miles an hour. With partly cloudy skies, 115 on the track. That's pretty hot. I don't think it's going to get any hotter. We're in the afternoon here on the track. I think it's about 3 o'clock simulator time, something like that. So it's not going to get much hotter, but 115 is a good place to start. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit warm for me, especially this time of year. I'd kind of hoping we'd hold out for at least till June.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a little warm for us. It's going to be even warmer for these guys. Let's talk about our picks for this week. All right. For me, you know what? I don't know anything about how these guys race as qualifying kicks off here. I don't know anything about how these guys race on this kind of track and this kind of discipline. Like we said, it's all different. And if you look, North Wilkesboro is a track that is just dangerous. It looks dangerous to me. I had to go with the man who on the practice was doing some of the best numbers, Greg Wyszynski. So I went with the number 5 of Greg Wyszynski.
There's nothing wrong with going for Greg, man. Greg's one of my closest friends, I'd like to say. I mean, wow, that's kind of weird.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's why I went with the 00, Mr. Charles Van Scoik. Van Scoik's going to be the guy here that I believe is going to be the one that's going to come out here. After only being in the league 4 short weeks, I'm putting it down that he's going to be the one to come out here and is going to smack everybody around.
Well, he put up some amazing numbers so far, and let's see what Kobe has to say down under.
I'm going to go with Greg Wyszynski also. He had a good run at the ISCA Sparks last week at this same track, so I think he's primed to win this.
All right. We got 2 for Wyszynski, 1 for Van Scoik. Let's see what happens in 200 laps here.
Now, look, you guys are probably even wearing the same color underwear tonight. I mean, you guys have just been with each other for so long. It's just, you should just get married. I'm going to pick Greg. I'm going to pick Greg, too.
Well, as perfect of a pairing as we would probably make. I don't think Kobe needs the green card. We don't need to go through the paperwork right now. So
I'm going to start calling you guys wine and cheese.
This is a perfect pairing.
Wine and the cheese.
He's definitely the wine in this case. I'm happy to be the cheese.
Yeah, definitely. Sean Signore putting down the time to beat right now. His qualifying is actually over halfway done. Just 3 minutes remaining for guys to go out, get their fast times. And we are seeing some pretty fast times down there, actually. I don't think we saw any times that were sub 21 seconds during warm-up. But now here qualifying, definitely putting them up. Mr. Signore with a 20.926, which is just going to be a little faster than Van Scoik's 20.948. Wyszynski in that third slot there with a 20.953. So just like that, our picks 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3.
Right there, looking good. And you know what? You mentioned that no one actually made it below 21. Only 2 people actually did. And it was Van Scoik and Sanchez made it just below the 21 number during practice. During qualification, though, like you said, everyone really opened it up a little bit, really drove a little bit harder. We had 5 drivers all get below the 21 mark on that last run. We got 3 guys who didn't put down times.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's nothing to second guess there, but David Gervais and Bacon Zelenka are going to start this thing, lucky to draw back of the field. Probably escaped a big one, Joe. I don't know, man. We'll have to see how that one shakes out. Are you a starting park or are you a qualify kind of guy? You're just take what they give you. What do you do?
I almost always qualify. I don't think I'm good enough at reading the tea leaves to be like, oh, I should start from the back this time. That's definitely the way to go. I usually start from the middle of the pack somewhere because I always qualify. I use qualifying as a time for me to get a feel for a full out a disservice for when the race does actually start. So that's just my philosophy on it, though, and I can understand though, and I can appeal to starting from the back. And sometimes you just got a feeling like, you know what, I'm not going to put down qualifying time. I'm just going to chill, and I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to see how things play out.
All right. Well, speaking of seeing how things play out, let's go ahead and take a break. Let's take a step away and get honors to the nation, and we'll be back with the qualifying order here in tonight's presentation.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports. Driver, start your engine!
Hey, we're back, folks. Welcome back to the ISCA Super Cup Series Thursday night race. It's the All-Star race here from North Wilkesboro. So you might see things that look a little bit different than they usually do on a weekly basis. But right now, go ahead and do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Keep track of what's going on here with the ISCA. We got a ton more racing coming up for you week in, week out. But right now, the All-Star race here is about to kick off, and we're going to give you the grid. These 12 cars here that are going to be kicking things off. Let's start at the top. First things first, pole position, Sean Signori. Second place on the outside, it's going to be Charles Van Scoik. Third place, Greg Wachinski. Fourth, J.C. Evans. Fifth, Mark Sanchez. Sixth, Kenny Powell. Seventh, Jose Medina. Eighth, Randy Drumhiller. Ninth, Jay Hone. 10th, Megan Zelenka. 11th, Paul Olson. And 12th, David Gervais. Nice tight field, but it works really well for a short track like this, so we're going to get a chance to see these guys really mix it up and duke it out over the course of these laps tonight.
Yeah, indeed, man. Tight field, short field, tight track. Look at me. I'm going to mess that up all night, I promise. But, yeah, it's going to bring a different element to the race here tonight. As guys they're not going to feel anything other than just joy when they run into each other. And I think it's going to be exciting because it's almost like it's a little mini crash course, right? You know what I mean? A little crash mount derby action going on down there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more chances for a little bit of wrecking. There's going to be some chances for some bumping and grinding. These mini stock cars can sometimes be a little bit tough to control. They are a lesson in things. They're one of the earliest things that you can race in iRacing, and they're kind of a lesson in things like early throttle control, early brake entry and exit on turns. And there's no downforce here. There's no drafting here. It's just pure you in the car, and everything you get, you earn purely on driver skill. And the technology is just not there to help you.
Technology. That's an understatement. I mean, you're looking at that in-car camera right there. That's technology, nuts, bolts, and iron, and plastic wrapped Recaros.
That's all you get. You get very, very little. So all the any amenities of the modern Cup car, or by amenities I mean mostly technological things, but that's gone here. Here we've got just sort of a reshelled Monte Carlos doing their thing and going around as best they can, trying to keep it down.
I'm really curious if we could, maybe grab Kenny Powell up here at some point and ask, does this count? Because remember, there were no such thing as fun races in the ISCA. We uncovered that in the last race. But I don't know, does this one count? Or is this one just for real, a fun race? That's one thing that we'll be trying to find out here tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that we could get that question answered. We'll see what we can do here. That'll be a good one for the man to answer himself.
Yeah, almost time to get ready to go. Drivers just wrapping up their briefing. Pace car's getting ready to get us rolling here. I promise won't be too long. We'll be getting this thing hot and bothered at North Wilkesboro Speedway for the what is this? This is the Superstar weekend here. The All-Star
All-Star. There we go.
It was the first time to win $1 million in NASCAR years back. Yeah, I believe the first person to ever do that was Bill Elliott. Was the first one to win that Coca-Cola's $1 million.
Not bad.
Definitely not a bad night at the racetrack. You know what I mean? When you're walking out of there with cold million there in the trunk. That's boss stuff right there, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Looks like we got Dylan up in the flag booth tonight. I want to give a big shout out to him and Carrie Ann.
We'll see what they have to say.
I can always tell Dylan by the way he wears his shirt.
Yeah, is it untucked in the back a little bit?
No, he's a tucker. He's a tight tucker. What about you, Joe? Are you a tucker?
Only when I got a belt, and so usually probably not.
Okay, all right, untucked. Yeah, I was tucked for 20 years, and now I'm untucked, and I don't truck.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's just a little more comfortable. You know what I mean?
Untucked and trucking. Lights off on the pace car. He's been getting up and out of the way. Not an easy feat. A lot of these drivers might be experiencing that, especially along stage 3. Fuel quantities on this bad boy just under 100 laps, I do believe. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
now the
sir.
lights are off on the pace car. Getting that.
Yep, I think they got one more to go.
Yeah, why don't you show us that back seat drive there, that back seat view? Yeah, there you go. I call that the cop view.
There we go.
You know, you're riding in the back seat.
Sean Signori out in the front with Van Scoik on the outside. Going through the back right now, getting things ready to go. Look at that lovely, look at that great red, white, and blue paint on that number 7. Here goes the pace car now. Here we go. Green flag, green flag. You know what that means? We are go, go, go here on the ISCA Super Cup Series.
Green flag off and away. 7 car, wasting no time. Sean Signore, look how he's cutting and carving along the bottom of the track. Comes up high. Seems to have the line. Looks like we got a 48 car. That's Jose Medina. Doesn't look like he's too happy right now. Definitely going to have to go back, unpack that, see exactly what might have occurred.
Yeah, let's go back in time just a little bit. Quick thing to check right here. Maybe just a bad start there. Jose Medina. Ooh, bit of a spin. Not sure if he got a little bit of a shovel. I don't think so.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse there. Kind of considered himself painted lucky tonight. Green flag racing continues, and watching the 5-car Greg Wachinski. He's starting to slide back, got to 24. Kenny Powell, I guess we're not announcing teammates tonight since it is that kind of a race. But, nonetheless, woohoo.
Nonetheless, woohoo.
Yeah, nonetheless, woohoo. Powell high around the outside.
You just love to see it right now. Eyes on that situation. No, riding with Greg Wachinski. Wachinski's down on the inside right now of the Kool-Aid 24.
Oh,
he's right now the only side-by-side situation we got. Oh, yeah. Looking real good. He slides up, takes the spot. 24 falls in behind.
Man, keeping this not as tight as I thought it would be this early, Joe. I'm not going to lie, but 50 laps is going to kind of fly by anyway. We only got 5 of them in so far. Guys definitely finding multi-grooves around this racetrack. But the one thing that's unique about this place, I know in the Cup cars, sliding in high there, coming in hot.
Yeah,
looking like that was going to be old Gerbil, none other than the 88 of David Gervais. But it's always at the Holly Farms chicken signs, man. Those are the breaking points around this track. Something that if you're from North Carolina, you know about some Holly Farms chicken. And if that's all I'm gonna say about it. Yeah, if you're from North Carolina, you know about the Holly Farms.
All righty.
That's
looks like that's where the braking zones are.
Yeah, so you'll see those yellow and black signs come up, and then generally that's what a lot of drivers are using as their entry points to know about the time to throttle back. Somewhere on that sign, you get your release point.
We got a pretty good challenge going on right now at the front right now with Sean Signori and Charles Van Scoik. The challenge, though, is between Signori and J.C. Evans. J.C. Evans right now is trying to put the heat on Signori as best he possibly can. He's right there on his tail, trying to get a line on the outside. Earlier was trying to get a line on the inside, and I just think if J.C. Evans can get a little more heat under it, he can be that kind of challenge. There we go, a little move to the outside. Can he do it? Not enough momentum in these cars to really use that outside to push him.
And JC's probably going to hate me, but anyway, everybody else does. So JC, I just hope JC can actually hold on to a little bit. These small cars are not generally known for tire changes, so you kind of have to conserve. That's the idea of it. I just hope that he saves enough.
Yeah, I kind of hope so too. As we're seeing right now, Evans making the pass though on Signori. Can he come down and find that spot? Can he get down on the inside? He's got the clearance. I don't think he knows he does, but there we go.
Yeah,
he's got the spot.
Ben Scoik actually running up front now.
Oh yeah, how far ahead is he now? It's all right. Looks like Van Scoik is about almost a second ahead, about 0.7, 0.68, something like that.
Yeah, definitely, and he's running like he knows something. But it's interesting, like the other drivers are kind of taking a more conservative approach. You see a lot of guys just kind of falling back in, taking it kind of easy. That's J.C. Evans running up to the front there in second place. And when we were talking about J.C. up there, that's exactly what I thought about. I thought about the fact that J.C. can be up front there early on in the races. Does that make sense?
It does indeed. And there he is up front early on in the race. J.C. Evans, Charles Van Scoik ahead of him just a little bit further. right now these guys are getting things lined up here. We've only got a little bit of play a little bit toward the back of the field where there's kind of a little bit of push-pull going on for some of the places back there. But again, not too much right now. It looks like the main battle might be between the 24 of Kenny Powell and the 19 of Jay Hone behind him. Hone close enough to Powell to put the heat on him, and right behind Hone, Drumhiller also with a pretty good push
good
right
to see
now.
Randy. Good to see Randy back out here mixing it up a little bit. Randy's
So
been a long
overall,
time.
overall though, things are getting pretty strung out. I'd say, Al. Things are stringing out pretty well.
Yeah, and it's going to be like that. I just thought it would be, maybe a little bit longer, but we're not even halfway through this stage yet, and we're already getting pretty decent separation. The thing about these tracks is, I think once you are that far back, you're kind of done. This just isn't a place that's known for tremendous strides forward.
Ooh, open to the wall. That's Jay Hone.
And as you were saying too, Joe, where do you go to make the adjustments? I mean, it's you're kind of limited on this little wagon, if you will.
Yeah, you really are. You don't have many choices, of things to leverage to get you around the car ahead of you. Your only thing that you can leverage is, can I just outdrive him? If flat out, can I outdrive the person ahead of me? And if we're all in the same car, if we're all in a fixed setup, or at least I think these are all on fixed setups. I don't think there's open setups in this particular car.
Totally.
If we're all on a fixed setup, how am I going to move my chess piece or my checkers piece on the board when they're all exactly alike? And it is a completely different head of racing for a lot of these guys. Ooh, very close right now. I want to point out that the 44 of Drumhiller is very, very close to Kenny Powell, putting the squeeze on him a little bit, maybe even getting ready to push him out of the way and say, hey, I'm faster than you. Just let me around, boss. I can get around you if you let me. But I don't think that Kenny Powell wants to let him right now. Powell's down 1 from where he started. Drumhiller is where he started, and he wants to start making his rise. But Drumhiller down to the inside now. Makes the move on Powell. He's side by side through 1 and 2. Can he do it?
That
Going
might
into 3
be.
and 4. Oh, he doesn't quite have it.
That might be one of those situations where that line of traffic behind Powell might not be necessarily his fan club, but they just might be being held up. Drumhiller looks like he has actually had enough of it. So now he's got that 44 car. He is dialed up trying to get around the 24. Traffic stacked up behind these guys, and meanwhile, the leaders, they just keep leading and running away. To the extent of, looks like there's a 6-car breakaway, Powell being the 7th all the way up to David Gervais in the 88. But Van Squake, we can't even, over a second lead now in this thing, Joe, so he's definitely found his groove.
Yeah, whereas the rest of those cars are all within about a half a second of each other, Van Squake is a second ahead. And he's found the groove and he's stuck to it. And in this situation, these cars can go like 157 laps without pitting for tires, without pitting for gas. So 157 laps, we're going to stop at 50. We're going to stop at 100. If he found the groove and he can hit that groove, he's going to be up there the whole race.
So guys, there's no, they don't have to stop for gas, Joe. Once they come out of the second stage, they will be good to hook all the way to the end of this thing. And with tires not being in consideration, they really got to take the opportunity to take these first 2 stages and just kind of figure out where that sweet spot is. There's a magical spot where you go around this track, and it's the fastest way, and it also is the least friction. And that's what Van Scoik has found. So unfortunately, he's too far in front of these guys for them to take note.
Yeah, at this point, it'd be hard to strategize as one of these guys at the front. Do I strategize to beat Van Scoik, or do I strategize to just beat myself and to figure out how to get faster and faster?
Definitely got to look at it like it's a training opportunity. This whole season is kind of gone into the books as a training camp of sorts, if you will. And I'm all about it. I'm excited to be here, excited to be part of it.
Good. Right now, it looks like that fight between Drumheller and Powell has cooled off considerably as Powell maintains his lead. Going on through.
We're just riding there with the 88 of David Gervais, getting a look there at Greg Wachinski's rear view. Man, I don't know what happened, but the 40. Go ahead.
I was saying, yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but the 44, he kind of gave it a go at the 24, and now it seems like he's kind of gust lock a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the lack of enthusiasm, or where the enthusiasm went for the battle he was having, but he had it for a while, and then he just started maybe cooling off that battle just a little bit. Maybe he realized it wasn't the time to have the battle. Maybe he realized it was, doing a number on his tires to try to fight too hard. But he fell off just a little bit, but not enough to give up a place. He's still holding on, at least that much.
Yeah, indeed. The coolest thing about this whole situation is that green flag racing continues. I mean, we've had one little incident, and that was far from an incident. The 48 car, Jose Medina, lap 1, kind of got a little bit in the wash going into turns 2 and 3 and kind of washed up just a little bit. But since then, it's been steady rocking. Sorry, that was 3 and 4 he was coming out of.
Oh, you're good to go. It really has been steady rocking. That's pretty much a good way to put it. Sunday driving a little bit. A smooth drive for a lot of these drivers in terms of keeping it straight and keeping it on the track. Not a lot going on. Here's a little side-by-side, though, right now. As the number 9 of J.C. Evans is right there side-by-side with the number 5 of Greg Wachinski.
Now, you remember J.C. was
one of our picks. Oh, go on.
Yeah, J.C. was all the way up. He was battling there for the lead not too long ago, within the last 35 laps. And now he seems to be kind of drifting the wrong way. So not sure what's going on. Maybe he's got a little bit of heat in those tires, and he's trying to work that out. Not sure what's going on.
Well, we're going to have to find out one way or the other as he keeps going around here. And we've got about, about 14 laps left in this stage. 15 if you do the NASCAR math. Which I always forget to do.
What's NASCAR math? Is that like, Friday night beard counting?
It's when you are looking at the laps left and you realize you have to count the end of the lap, like when they finish a lap. So it'll be a +1 on the lap counter for most things. So it's like if the stage ends at 50, you just add, it'll be like 51 when you actually see the flag, It's that little extra 1 you add at the end. I know I'm not crazy. I know. Okay. At least Kobe's got my back on this one. At least I know I'm not crazy. There is something to it. I can't explain it very well, apparently, but there's something to it.
I'm not arguing with you, buddy. I agree with everything you're saying.
I'm validating myself here, man. Trust me. I'm staring like, am I crazy? Am I? No. Like, I'm just looking at myself in the mirror questioningly right now. So don't worry. I don't feel judged by anybody other than myself.
Yeah, but, when I ask myself those questions, am I crazy? Am I? I'm always like, yeah. It's like, quit interrupting me. I'm talking to me.
Yeah, if you get a really verbose answer to that question when you're just kind of asking it into the void, you might want to get that one checked out. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's like, how many Nixons are in there? My wife's cousin has counted 52, and she's named 9 of them.
Oh boy!
But who's counting? I'm not counting.
Who's counting? Oh no!
He is counting just how long it's taken him since he is caught up with the 5 of Greg Wachinski, who's actually being bounced around a little bit by the 9 of JC, but the 29 of Mark Sanchez still running strong. Looks like Kenny Powell is now just kind of running solo. You remember he had quite a little following there for a while, and I was thinking maybe Kenny was holding up traffic, but no. Kenny no hold up traffic. Kenny is actually catching up to that pack in front of him.
Yep, he's making it work. There he goes. You can see that gap is closing for Kenny Powell. Ooh, about a half a second faster than the last lap.
Yeah, definitely. He had the fastest lap that time.
That's the timer I got to
look for. 21.470. So, I don't know. I'm just looking at the times, and it looks like we've only got about 0.4 of a second fall off through 40. So 45 laps. That's not bad. 5 laps to go here. Just 5 short laps in stage 1. These guys will actually be able to bring it down here. Just kind of regroup a little bit, stretch the fingers out, kick the finger out, maybe. Going to give us an opportunity to talk to the 24 car Kenny Powell. Going to ask him some pointed questions. Kenny's got some answering to do.
Well, he's going to be able to answer those questions very shortly here in about 4 laps. We bring him up here and we really put the screws to him. We figure out what he knows, and you get a chance to say what you want to say. Big L, ask the big questions. We send those questions and answers out to you folks instantly through the power of the internet.
What's the internet?
Well, it's a series of tubes, Big Al. To my understanding, it's a series of tubes, and you fill them up. Ooh. Sideways for a second there, David Gervais. And is it going to be Van Scoik? Let's get a camera on him. He's going to be coming around lap 49. Looking for lap 50 here. He's way ahead, but it's going to be the end of the stage any second here. After Van Scoik comes around and crosses the line, I think we need the first 10 cars. Yeah, the first 10 cars, right?
Yep, 10 car marks the spot.
Well, here at Wilkesboro, that could be, he'll be halfway around the track before that happens. Let's see what happens here. Oh, at the end of this lap here, excuse me.
Yeah, Joe, is it?
I should remember.
It's the end of
NASCAR math, right?
the 50th lap. Yeah.
I was getting ahead of myself.
Comes on the 50th lap, 51st lap. Now the caution.
That's the one. That's the one, guys. Thank you very much for your help. Ugh. Got myself confused there for a second. But, folks, that's going to be the caution for Stage 1 here at the Super Cup Series. Charles Van Scoik wins it. Sean Signori in second. Mark Sanchez in third for your 1, 2, 3. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get things ready. We'll talk to the race. We'll talk to, you know what? We'll figure out who we're going to talk to. We'll talk about that during the break. But in the meantime, we'll be right back. Hey, we're back, folks. The ISCA Super Cup Series, and we're up in the booth with Kenny Powell. Kenny, can you tell me as a newbie to the ISCA a little bit about this All-Star race? What is the feel? What is the goal? The motif? What was in your head when you came up with this?
It's just kind of a party, a celebration, not so serious race, somewhere where we can just have fun and enjoy everybody without serious points being on the line. Just bragging rights.
Well, that's all right then. I like the choice of car discipline here. Are you a mini stock racer much yourself?
I've dabbled in it a bit. So these cars are fun. I decided that was going to be a good fun car to try it with.
I think you did right. It looks like you guys have been having a good time so far, keeping it clean out there. Anybody you want to shout out to right now before we cut you loose?
Yeah, all my boys at G&G and you guys in the booth and everybody else that races with us.
All right, Kenny. Well, thank you very much. We will catch up with you on the other side. Good luck. That was Kenny Powell, and we'll be catching up with him maybe a little bit later on in the race. Right now, though, the lights are off on the pace car. Here comes the green flag. And there it goes, and we are green yet again here on the ISCA Super Cup Series.
Yeah, that 7 car getting going, wasting no time. That is Mr. Sean Signori, same guy that led this thing kicking off there for the initial sequence. Now, that 00 car, Van Scoik, he actually ran pretty solid there, showing the way throughout the majority of the first stage, Joe. But now, well, this stage 2, another 50 laps going the same way. We're already up to 57, so a little bit shorter than the initial stage, but just as important. This is going to be all about track position, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. Track position has been kind of the name of the game here. You got to get it while it's good, and then stick it. Really stick with it. Find that spot, because passing doesn't seem to come very easy to these cars. We've seen some dives that have resulted in passes, but that pass takes a whole lap. You can't just get it done. It's going to need to be something you're able to stick, and you can only stick that by finding a really good line, figuring out where the car is going to live for the next duration. Now, we're only going to go about another 40 laps, about 41, 42 laps here before the end of this stage, because we're going to stop at 100. And then after 100, we're going another 100 laps after that to 200. So that's going to be the big one. But this stage here, it's more like a sprint. It's going to be a shorter version of all that. So let's see where people use their time wisely here.
Indeed, you can't force it. You just got to really ride and enjoy it right now. And just kind of wait. You know, making any sudden moves, trying to pass, it's not really going to gain you a whole lot. I think this is just that segment where you're just trying not to tear the car up.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it. Just don't want to tear the car up. And right now, I don't think anybody does. They're all driving very politely and have been for most of this race.
Yeah, here comes that 00 again, though. He is going to be showing his nose right here. Going to be trying to get around that significant 7. Kenny Powell going high behind these two.
Whew.
Going to allow his G&G teammate Mark Sanchez to slide on by. Big shout out to Mark here tonight, showing us his stuff. You know, Sanchez is having a good season here. The All-Star race is a great time to talk about him. You know, been watching Mark in the series for the last 4 years, and he has come a long way. I would definitely say he is probably one of the most improved drivers that we do have in the league.
Most improved driver. That sounds like an award that I would end up with. But it's always good to see that we can track somebody over the course of a season and see them go from on the field to excelling on the field. Up in the front, Sean Signori, Van Scoik, keeping things nice and clean with Mark Sanchez in third. Pretty good gap right now between Van Scoik and Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, neither one of these guys seem angry either.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Neither of them do seem angry, but I will say Van Scoik seems like he wants to try to make the pass on Sean Signori. I think he wants to get into first place.
Indeed. I don't think he really wanted to relinquish first place. I think it just kind of happened.
Yeah, if the 7 gets out of line even slightly, the 00 is going to pounce on him. Just pounce immediately. Let's see. Oh. I'm still half expecting for Signori to spin out at some point because of the way he's just attacking some of these corners. I'm not sure how long his tires are going to hold up. As right now, he is now side by side with Van Squik.
Yeah, but he's got the inside, so usually that's the dominant position. You notice guys say, if you got to pass me, you got to pass me to the outside. So he is probably not where he'd want to be, I'm guessing, to defend the position.
Ooh, look at that move.
I think that was a little bit, hey, man, I'm sick of you. You kind of cut his nose off, but the 7 car still plug it on. Did not relinquish, but now there you go. The 00 is back to his masterpiece. He started painting this thing in the first stage. We're starting to get a pretty good idea of how it looks.
Yeah, no kidding. A little side-by-side action. Ooh, maybe some bumping and rubbing. Yes, sir. That's the 88. David Gervais in the back there. A little bit of action. Bacon Zelenka also there with JC Evans. These guys are stacked up pretty good right now. The 88, though, having some trouble getting through. David Gervais on the outside. Greg Wyszynski on the inside.
Yeah, good to see the gerbil running strong there. David started this thing all the way in the back. He was one of the guys that you said, you know, kind of didn't really take a strong qualifying run.
Yeah, there were 3 of those guys who didn't qualify.
Greg Wyszynski really having his hands full. She's got the 45. Bacon Zelenka going to try to get around him. Bacon does get around him. Still 2-wide situation. JC Evans holding on to the outside of Wyszynski. And he really has to get his foot down. Otherwise, he's going to be dealing with the 44 Randy Drumhiller as well.
Watching 88 of Gervais, and then just behind him, Zelenka. Zelenka's got a pretty decent defense going, and he's defending against a pack of angry bees right now. It's at JC Evans, Greg Wyszynski tower, Randy Drumhiller. They're all stacked up right now. Drumhiller side by side with Wyszynski.
Yeah, just too soon to risk it, though. I mean, still... Yeah. Just not even halfway through this thing. We'll be halfway through it at the stage break. Still 24 laps before that actually occurs. And I was actually looking at the pit times as well, Joe, and well, these guys spent quite a bit of time down pit road. Usually, at this track in particular, is extremely difficult to actually pit and get 4 tires. Well, these guys took 4 tires down there, and the average pit stop was just over 24 seconds. That's almost double. That is almost double.
That's a long time.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Oof. And that's for 4 tires and gas, right?
Right, 4 tires and gas. Hadn't been seeing a lot of contact, so hopefully guys aren't mixing it up too much. It's really been a clean race, especially for it to be, a fun race.
It is a for fun race, It's one of those things where you want to race, but you want to, even in a for fun race, you want to race well. You don't want to be the one guy who's causing the race to be disrupted because you're not actually racing well. But you want to push a little bit harder. And I think that's where maybe the decision to use the mini stocks came from. Is that they wanted something that you could race a little harder.
Yeah, indeed you can. I mean, it takes a lot of the measurements out, and it just like you said, it just puts the driver in a car. So you get rid of all of the frills, the whistles, the bells, and it just comes down to who's the best pilot. And it's if you just look at the distance that you're having between our leader right now, the 00, and then going all the way back to my best friend Paul Olsen, you'll see that even though they're equal, they're still not quite equal.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? I mean, are you really one of the guys that likes it when the car's kind of dialed up and you can make a lot of adjustments on it, or you kind of prefer when you just come out to the racetrack and you just line them up and go?
Pure racing. Line them up and go. Honestly, I like it. I usually do a lot of fixed racing, just because I'm usually not buying and getting good setups in most cases. So I'm doing a lot of fixed racing. But from a philosophical standpoint, I like fixed racing. So I think it puts everybody on an even playing field. And then it just becomes a matter of how well can you master the tools that are in front of you. And if the tools are the same for everyone, you get a really good idea of just how good someone really might be if it was just a matter of you versus them and the tools weren't necessarily part of the equation. And it's so fun. You get some good racing out of that.
Really, there's no one to blame.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
I used to do this years back, and it was actually the IROC series, the International Race of Champions. And they get all of the guys together from different sports, different racing genres, the best, like 2 or 3 from each genre, and they put them together and they would compete. I mean, like once a month or something. It was actually pretty interesting. They did that for years. They don't do it anymore.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that became kind of fun to mix it up at least a little bit.
Yeah, they were always in these, they were in IROCs, Camaros.
Nice. That is a classy looking car to be racing.
Yep.
Here up at the front, let's take a look and see how things are going. Lap 89 out of 100 here before we take our next break. Will be after this next stage break here in about 12 laps, something like that. Up at the front, Van Scoik is actually only now less than half a second ahead of Sean Signori. Something has happened to Van Scoik's dominant lead, and it has evaporated as Signori
just watching those last lap times. Even though it seems like Signori was fast, Van Scoik was actually faster. Just kind of bobbled, got away from it a little bit, but now seems to be putting it right back in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Very good dive there as the 7 of Sean Signori tries to find a good spot on Van Scoik to make a pass potentially before the end of this stage. Let's see if he can.
Got a little side-by-side action going on behind these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Back on the racetrack, yeah. 2 battles right there. That's the 24 and the 29. Those guys are actually teammates. I think they rode here together.
Trying to decide who's paying for the Waffle House later.
Yeah, absolutely. But the 45, though, he was actually side-by-side duking it out with David Gervais. Those guys were having themselves a wheel of a time. But all things must come to an end. 93 laps to go, just 7 laps to go in the stage. Everything's pretty much still the same. Charles Van Scoik, your leader. This guy, I mean, when it came out with Signori, I knew Charles was going to have a little something to say about it, and he has definitely been pounding on that gavel all night thus far. But now the 7 of Signori is back in the picture. It's almost like an angry ex, right here showing up around the holidays.
Back in the picture.
I thought I was done with you.
Can't get rid of it that easy.
Yeah, loving that camera angle there, Kobe. Always giving big props to our producer and button pusher down in the van, Kobe Bryant, the man from down under, literally.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, sorry.
Pushing the buttons, making it
Kobe
work.
Bryant. I meant Kobe Jordan.
Kobe Jordan.
Which is just,
I love it.
That's the ultimate name, right? Kobe
Yes, sir.
Jordan.
Yes, sir. 97 now out of 100 in stage 2. Let's get ready to break it down. Van Scoik out in front, about a half second ahead of Sean Signori, letting that gap slightly increase, up about 3/10 from where it was previously and a few laps ago. Sean Signori in second. Kenny Powell moving his way up is now in third. He's up 3 positions now from where he started. He's had a night of moving all over the field so far. We've seen Kenny in the back, in the front. It's been very intense for him. So kudos to Kenny for showing up here in the top 3. Mark Sanchez and Bacon Zelenka round out your top 5 as we get ready to bring home the end of stage 2.
Yeah, and it couldn't come at a better time for the 43 of Paul Olsen, as he is at the very tail end of the lead lap, and he is probably waiting on Chase to throw that flag right now, because that's the one thing that's going to actually save him.
That's
One more
right.
lap to go.
Let's see here. Coming around into the back stretch. Van Scoik. Looking for the line. Oh, in the front stretch, excuse me. There's goes across the line. Lap 101 has begun. And very soon we will have the flag, folks. Thanks for sticking around here. There it is. 2 stages down in the Super Cup Series. 1 stage left to go. It's going to be about 90 laps once all is said and done. From here to the end, we're going to take one more break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Stick around for more from the ISCA Super Cup Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
There goes the green. We are back on the ISCA Super Cup Series, folks. There's the green flag to start Stage 3 here.
And definitely looking at the pit times, man, the 7 of Sean Signori is significantly faster off of pit road. He had a 19.6 compared to the 00's 22 seconds on pit road. Oh, got a car going around. Is he actually able to save it? That's going to be the 19 car, Jay Honan. Oh, no, that's the 44, Randy Drumhiller. And go back and unpack this to see exactly what took place. You see Randy right here.
Flash on.
I just thought it was up there. It is. He gets a little bit of contact in the back of Paul Olsen, but able to keep that thing going. Not an issue. Green flag racing continues.
Oh, looks like Bacon's having some trouble. Potentially, he's still on pit road. He's packed up and disconnected, unfortunately, so that we're one car down now.
Yep, Bacon Zelenka has left the race.
Ooh, up at the front.
I don't know what David was doing, but it looked like he was trying to take a train right there.
Woo! Now things are getting spicy. Here we go. Very spicy indeed.
Oh, Kenny Powell a little bit loose there going into turn 3. But this is that last stage, though. So this is where all bets are off. As you see, 3 wide right there is going to end up with the 48 car. That's Jose Medina. He's going to be sideways into the wall. Caution's out for just the first time for calls here tonight. We'll unpack this to see exactly what took place, Joe.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Let's find out together. Here we go. 3 wide, briefly. Oh, it looks like he just came down right across the nose there of that Bucky's car.
Just nowhere to go, man.
Yeah.
Don't go to Bucky's.
Not enough room.
Olsen was kind of at the back end of the lead lap going into that last caution, so I don't think he needed any damage. But we're seeing quite a few takers down on pit road right now. Not sure what this is about. They definitely have enough fuel to make it. I don't know if these guys are actually going to try maybe a tire change here.
Maybe. They've got enough sets. Considering how things are, no one wants to be left behind them when it comes to tires.
Man, several drivers backing up, getting manipulated on pit road.
I saw that car back up into the road.
Kenny must be passing out spiked drinks.
That was a rough one for whoever that was back there. I think that was Drumhiller or Honey.
I mean, once again, these guys are taking the full Monty. Everybody, 22 seconds at the house. 4 tires and a little bit of fuel to go back out and try to continue. This guy's trying to find a little help, a little savior with handling anywhere they can.
If they can find it.
Yeah, track temp's actually down considerably. I mean, it was in triple digits at the start of this thing. Now we're just down to actually 98 degrees on the street, 78 degrees in the seat. So not as humid as it was when this thing started. But still going to be up there just a little bit. Now we're going to be seeing if maybe these lap times will get a little faster since the track is actually cooled down some and it's got a lot more rubber laid down there.
The track's cooler, there's more rubber. We're going to see if this benefits our racers, which I guess it should overall.
Lights off on the pace car. He's doing his thing. Paul Olsen's going to be trying to chase the field. The 48 car, Jose Medina, still down on pit road, trying to get whatever damage he can get repaired. But I'm afraid, though, the pace car is down in a way. If the 48 doesn't go and he is not, he is going to be laps down. 00 getting it done. Van Scoik taking in this one to the limit, not wasting any time, will not be denied. He is actually going to be your leader back on this lap. Now, I don't know what he's doing there on pit road, but he's definitely not getting the drive off that he needs, and that's really allowing Signore to kind of jump back on top of him. Signore now on the inside. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Signore now on the inside, still going to be there competing for the lead with the 00. These guys are actually going to be duking it out, man. And the way they're changing tires down there, Joe, I don't know if this is actually a wise thing to do with 84 laps to go.
Let's see. I'm watching right now. There's a lot of cars stacked up there in the middle of the field that were a briefly 2 wide, 3 wide situation going on. Mark Sanchez, Kenny Powell. These are a couple names here that I want you to keep an eye on. J.C. Evans, Randy Drumhiller. These guys are stacked up tightly. Way more tight than I expected.
We're seeing some of the best racing up front that we've seen all night, man. These guys are not just out here on a charity run. They're definitely out here going to blows. They're playing for blood, and I'm loving every second of it. Van Scoik and Signore were a little bit hands off here going through the first 2 stages, but they're definitely proving that they came to race at the end. And just like that, there's a wild horse out of nowhere, the 88 of David Gervais. He has shown up to the party, butt naked with a smile on.
It's his birthday. You got to wear your birthday suit, right?
He can have it. I'm out.
That's where I draw the line, good sir.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you never fight a naked man.
No, he's got nothing to lose.
Amen.
Around the corner they go. Van Scoik in front. Still holding it down really well. He's got that line, like you said, but Sean Signore is right behind him. And by right behind him, I mean literally 0.2 of a second. So if Signore can use that same line and just get inside of Van Scoik's head a little bit, he might be able to get him to make a mistake. And that mistake will cost Van Scoik dearly.
He's definitely trying to do just that. My only question is, is it going to be for naught? I mean, this early in the stage, I mean, you still got more than a handful of laps left. You're just wearing those Hoosiers down to nothing at this point, and I don't know if that's not the way you want to party.
No, not always. You don't want to wear them down.
But these are still going at it, and I mean that works out in our benefit, man.
Up at the lead.
Ooh! Look at
Van
the drop.
Scoik.
Wow, David Gervais going to get the drive off there. It's going to put himself out front for the first time tonight, dragging Mark Sanchez with him. Van Scoik gets into it with Signore. Both of those two guys plummeting through the field. Van Scoik back and forth right now. Signore, unfortunately, worse off for him as he is all the way back in 7th place.
There was the hit right there on the way back machine. You can see that it was Signore hitting, unfortunately, Van Scoik on the inside. Almost spun him just a little bit. That almost spin costing him so many places.
It's almost like every time I start saying, look right here, it's like the accident is brewing. Those two guys, man, going at it very hard. I mean, and when you see a heavyweight fight, very rarely do they come out with so much energy in the first 3 rounds. You got to save it because it's at the end of the fight when this is actually going to be the most important thing. Now both of these gentlemen having significant obstacles to actually overcome because they got to get all the way back up to the front. And then one thing we've noticed is not real easy to pass here. Watching J.C. Evans now driving down on the inside of Kenny Powell, showing him the bumper.
We're at 128 right now, approaching the 130 mark out of 200 tonight. Almost down to 70 laps to go.
Yeah, thank you for joining us here, man. We understand you could have been anywhere doing anything, but thank you for tuning in and joining us here tonight with the ISCA All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway in sunny North Carolina. This race is just for bragging rights, not a sanctioned points event. We'll be back to scheduled racing, I believe, next week.
back to our regular schedule next week, but we're not going to forget the fun we're having here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, you got a little change. Different cars, different track, different scenery, you know.
I feel spoiled.
David Gervais, though, definitely enjoying the spot that he has. This guy started way in the back, so not only is he going to be our biggest mover, because, I mean, he started in 12th, okay? So now he's actually started in last place. Now he's actually all the way up to the front. So, I mean, go Gerbil, go.
Yeah. It's an incredible run. You know, he's easily the hardest charger of the night. He's the only one who's up double digits in terms of going up places, and he's just captured the field. It's huge.
Yeah, not only did he capture the field, I mean, and now he's got a little bit of a lead there to just be comfortable. I mean, I wouldn't, go buy a car just yet, because Mark Sanchez is another guy who's actually here, and he is determined that maybe he wants to get his name on that trophy there for bragging rights. Yeah, we did just see Sanchez win his first race about 3 weeks ago. Or no, his first podium. Or did he? No, he actually won.
I think he did. I got to go look that up, though. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm the analyst, and yet here I am talking about facts I don't have.
It's okay. No one's judging here.
You're entitled to your own opinion, but no one's entitled to their own facts. Gervais settling down now.
Mm-hmm.
And this definitely is a lot closer of a battle than what we had before. Before we were actually looking at where it was really just kind of a two-way battle, but now definitely it's a three-way battle. It's a 0-0. Van Scoik is back onto the scene, trying to just crawl back up into his spot like he never left it. 88 is going to allow him to actually pass underneath, giving him the chosen line, Joe.
There it is. Oh, maybe he'll get sorted back out, though, real fast. It's two of the best here up at the front right now, battling it out for first. Van Scoik.
I don't know if David is actually yielding or if he's actually faster on the outside and he's just giving it all that he has. He's not yielding any. The 0-0 is definitely going to have to work for this if he wants it.
Oh, man, here we go. Everybody's lined up still. Another 10 laps down, another 60 to go. Whoop. The 0-0 making the move again this time. Van Scoik, is he going to do it? Not quite. He's tried this maneuver a couple of times in the last few laps where he just pushes the nose of the car right past the rear bumper of the 88. It's kind of what caused the last wreck, to be honest, but let's see if there's any heat here that he can generate.
Yeah, this is just no way they're going to be able to sustain this as you're watching the 88 slowly. I mean, he is on the outside, and every time he is going by, you can only imagine what he's doing to that right rear tire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be screaming hot right now.
Longevity says with 60 laps to go, you really got to start making better choices on that one.
Well, here comes the slide job. Wait, maybe there's contact now. Yep. Ooh, good door bang right there between Van Scoik and the 88 of David Gervais. Gervais falls back. He's 3 wide now.
Almost a four-way battle for the lead there as the 24 came up into the fray.
Almost right now. The 9's in the 88. 88 sideways. 88 sideways. The 9's shoving him.
Caution's out. Second time.
88 goes sideways. David Gervais, the 9 of JC Evans, just shoveling him straight down the straight there. Not too huge of a wreck for those two cars in terms of overall structural damage, but definitely not pretty. Not good for the tires. Let's go back in time. Let's all watch that again. Watch the 88 get spun across the nose of the 9 right here. Like I said, they get shoveled a little bit. And David Gervais pulls away. None the wiser. Going to be a little bit of pit time for those cars, but hopefully not much more. Here we go. Everybody's lined up. Let's see how they do with the race off of pit road here. Everybody's been very liberal with their tire use this evening. Oh, first off, it looks like it's going to be David Gervais, I think.
Van Scoik.
Oh, that's Van Scoik. Van Scoik, Signori, Wachinski, and Evans, your top four. There's the yellow out still. Getting cars stacked up here. Just taking a moment to enjoy the peace and the lull here, as the lights are off on the pace car now. So it's only going to be one more round, folks, before we get things back up and going here. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We only got about 50 laps left in tonight's race. Go ahead and smack that like and subscribe button if you've been enjoying it so far. And the bell if you want some more. There we go. There's the thumb, there's the subscribe, and there's the bell. All three will help you stay in touch with us here at the ISCA and help you be aware of what we got going on when it comes to presenting you some of the best in iRacing's high-class content. And there's the green flag. Out in front, it's Van Scoik and Signori leading things off as we get things going. Back in the pack, it's the 88, almost around again as things get kicked off here. Up at the front, though, Van Scoik, Signori getting things around 1 and 2 into the back stretch. Everyone kind of finding their place. The 5, almost up into the 9 there. That's Wachinski into J.C. Evans. A lot more aggressive racing going on right now. Mark Sanchez in the 29 almost puts it around himself. Good slip angle there, a bit of a sideways move.
He's throwing that thing around like a rag doll. Mark Sanchez, once the green flag flew, man, he was not giving anything. Definitely seems to be very comfortable in the cockpit here tonight. Watching him now as he is sitting smugly in 5th place. I think it's kind of where he started.
That's exactly where he started, yeah. Well, so let's see if he can actually make the most of these last 50 laps. That would be really nice for him. He's in a good spot to do it, too.
Right there.
Oh, he's got eyes on the 5 of Greg Wachinski. Can Wachinski hold him off long enough to make his own move on J.C. Evans? Let's see. I guess we'll find out. Let's see. Wachinski. Right now, down 1 from where he started. Still getting the screws to put to him by Mark Sanchez right behind him. Sanchez not quite close enough to maybe really put the heat on, but he's just not letting go. Just tenacious up there. Up at the very front, Van Scoik holding on to the lead pretty well. 0.2, 0.2 ahead of Sean Signori.
Yes, Signori finally got his wagon pointed in the right direction, and now he is back up to the front to battle with the Van Scoik. This time, I don't think he's going to be taking no for an answer.
And it's going to be a smooth race for a while, I think. If things line up the way they've been going right now, Van Scoik and Signori are not going to have to worry about pitting till the end of the race. They're not going to have to worry about the strategy involved there. So without that, they need to put their strategy elsewhere. They need to focus all their energy on defense, most likely, especially when they're sitting up in that position right now. Defense will be the name of the game, and it will be how they win this race.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to actually be able to hold off your competitors towards the end of this thing. You're going to have to make it almost impossible. Yeah, no, wait, I was on it. You're going to have to make yourself impassable. You know, that's it. That's the solution.
Yes, sir. Impassibility. Got to raise that impassibility quotient. See if you can make yourself a little bit more of a defensive threat on the track. And there's a couple ways you might accomplish that, Big Al. Can you? What do you think? What would you do to make yourself a little more impassable in this kind of situation?
I got to make it as wide as I can.
Yeah, just use more of the track and make the car feel really wide.
The car has to be as wide as possible. I mean, almost like 3 car lengths wide. So guys are like, man, if they're gonna pass me, they have to take pit road or dirt road.
I like that idea. Yeah, make the car bigger than it actually is. It seems like a silly thing to ask, but I know what you're talking about.
Yep. I mean, that's it. That's the book. That's the whole book.
Here we are, lap 161 right now, folks, out of 200. You know what that means? We've got 39 laps to go, or 40 laps to go.
Yeah. The book's still 738 pages, okay, and well over 50,000 words, but those are the only ones that you needed to know. Joe?
Yes, sir.
Is that bad?
No. Sorry, I did not hear that. I'm having a bit. I must have had a bit of a technical there. I did not hear that last thing that you said at all.
It wasn't important.
Oh my God! Give me a second here. I don't think we need to cut it, but I needed to reset my headset for a second here. I had a brief technical there, folks. I'm sorry. I should have said something now, but I briefly lost you for a moment. I got you back here.
By the book.
Perfect timing, right?
That's it.
Well, I'm going to say that it's very bad. Whatever it was that I missed there for a second. I usually say that it's very good. I'll switch it up this time.
Well, I mean, a lot of people were happy with it. That's all I know.
Oh no! Okay. Oh well, then I guess it's good. I'll just go. I'll just give the popular answer. That's what I want to do right now. Dig myself out of this hole.
You know, and I'm watching Jay Hone in the 43, Paul Olsen, also the 48 car. Jose Medina, you know, he has been trying to get his laps back, so he did get the lucky dog the last time. But these guys, especially Jose Medina, he might become a factor in this thing before it's over, especially with 35 laps to go. I don't see a scenario by in which that he is not going to be there in the lead unless he just opts to kind of take her down pit lane. But that's the next thing that we're going to be watching.
Yes, sir. A little bit of lap traffic would make this interesting here at the late stage of the game. We've had a couple of yellows that have been caution related. We've had a few yellows that have been competition related. But having the lap traffic isn't something we've had to deal with really that much yet in this race. So it'd be interesting to see how Hone would contribute to that.
Yeah, but
or Medina.
Medina's he's a solid guy. He's a good dude. So I don't see him putting himself in a situation that he would actually distract from the race lead. Now we do have that, you know, there are a couple guys down there that would do exactly that. I just don't know if Jose is one of them.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, kudos to Jose Medina then. I don't want anybody to obviously take a good situation and make it bad, but he's in a tough situation right now, and he can make the best of it. I think that's what we're going to see out of him.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Amen.
But the leaders are steadily encroaching upon his position right now. They're almost to the point where he is going to be able to see them on the backstretch, and that's definitely going to make it a little bit more sporty. At the same time, the 19 of Jay Hone and the 43 of Paul Olsen also seem to be picking up on the struggle bus just a little bit as well. I mean, Joe, there's that Bolognese sauce again of yours. This field is starting to break up, man.
It is starting to break up just a little bit. And I think that is just going to lead to things being a little bit smoother as we get towards the end of the race here, a little bit less competitive, as things go. So it's going to be, again, a matter of man versus machine, Al. It's going to be, we're going to see if someone spins, it's going to be on them. If someone collides, then we'll have a pretty clear answer. But things are spreading out. Things are definitely spreading out. There's a few pockets where it looks like there's still some pretty close racing, but I haven't seen anybody really putting the heat on anybody else too much yet. Maybe the Sanchez and Wachinski race right now might be the closest one we've got on the field.
Sanchez and Wachinski, that's a good one. But those two guys are definitely going to have to put the hammer down to get up front. This is the time, man. We're talking about bragging rights, and bragging rights are not given, they're earned. So if you are holding anything back, if you got it tucked away, if you, rolled up, flattened, I don't know what it is, but you need to get it out right now. And you need to start making that thing water soluble so you can get it engaged. It's go time officially, especially on this short track.
Yes, it is. It is go time officially. That's a good way to put it. If you're not going by now, you have lost the page.
A lot of drivers are going to be hoping that a late race caution comes out, give them another shot at tires. Now, I think most of the pit stop boxes are checked at 4, so a lot of guys still down to 1 set of tires. Some guys maybe still have 2, but it seems that everybody has pitted every opportunity that we've had.
Yeah,
that will be 4
a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a couple times that we saw the whole field come down.
So everybody just holding on to that one last set of tires. And I think it's going to come into play. I think we're going to find ourselves in a situation where it'd be hard-pressed to not actually pull those things out and bolt them on. Now, one thing that will be interesting is there a differential enough that somebody might try to risk it for the biscuit and only take, say, right sides? Because that would give them a significant advantage coming off of pit road. So,
time-wise.
I'm talking about pit strategies because we're going to have a caution. I'm going to start talking about it. And I'm going to tell you where to point the camera.
Okay, you're going to manifest a caution. I can see that.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, man.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a very good possibility, Big Al, is as the race goes on and the cloud coverage gets a little bit tighter here up at North Wilkesboro, but because there is still some tight races happening. Like I said, we've got the Greg Wachinski, Mark Sanchez race that's still happening. Behind them is Kenny Powell, who still wants a slice of that. Ahead of them, J.C. Evans is still getting chased down by Greg Wachinski. So there is still some racing going on here, even though the race lead has been run away with by Van Scoik. There are some guys here around the 4th, 5th place position who are still putting down some good numbers.
I don't know, John. I'm not going to say he's run away with it. I mean, he's under a second lead. We've seen bigger leads, and we know also that Signore can be pretty fast if he wants to. I'm watching the 5-door Wachinski because I think what is gonna boil on is right here. The 29 is in. These two guys are going to get impatient around the 9 car who is trying to be impassable. And there it is. There's the 5 car giving them the bumper. That's kind of like giving somebody the finger, but in racing, it's the bumper.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the same thing when you give somebody the bumper?
I'd say a little bit, but in real life, if you give somebody the finger, you're not physically moving their car out of the way.
Well, contact has already occurred, so we're just going to see if that contact was that incidental or is that something that we're going to become accustomed to here as we go through the latter part of the race? Just 17 laps to go in this thing now. We're not going anywhere. I think I was thinking like, well, our sponsors, but now I'm like, yeah, sponsors, we love you. This race sponsored and brought to you by Butt Kicker, which is actually what's going on down there on the racetrack right now in several positions. You can actually feel it is so real.
Yeah.
Butt Kicker.
Never had a chance to have one on my rig, but I would want to get one eventually if my neighbors would hate me for it, but I'd love to give it a shot.
It's tactile, so it doesn't emit noise. It turns that
shakes,
noise
right?
into vibration. Unless your neighbors are downstairs,
Exactly
then
my
you
point.
might have a little bit of an issue. But I believe mine cranked up pretty good upstairs, and I can't really tell. I love my Butt Kicker. I'm just saying.
Hey, totally fair. Yeah, I gotta give it a try. Then I will have to do that. Coming around
definitely
187.
And the 00, man, he has actually gotten himself a little bit more cushion between Sean Signore, that lead now up to 1.1 seconds, but he is just ever so closely to the 48 car of Jose Medina. And speaking of ever so closely, the 5 and the 9, these guys are actually looking like Siamese twins up here, joined at the bumpers. I don't know if that's an indication of Wachinski being in love with him, that he's chasing him, or maybe he's just wanting to go ahead and get around him and call it a day. I'm going to think it's the latter. I'm thinking he is pretty fed up with being held up.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd say so. Being fed up with being held up sounds about right. As Sanchez on the inside just avoids the 5 there. Wachinski bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say just that very same thing as the 5 car right there in that situation is going to give the 9 a little bit more of a reprieve because JC was actually able to get the drive off once the 5 actually started ping pong balling.
Oh, yeah. The 5 now is seeing life all over the track, unfortunately. He hit the wall pretty good. Now he looks back to the inside maybe, but no, it's not going to happen. A defensive move there from the 29 of Mark Sanchez. Wachinski falls back a little bit into the face of Kenny Powell. Wachinski just can't seem to get the car back combobulated underneath his feet again.
Yeah.
It seems like he's lost a little bit of some sort of je ne sais quoi that he's had earlier tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like it might have evaporated there for the number 5.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it couldn't have come at a worse time with just 10 laps to go. The 48 is still slightly in front of the 00. I don't think the 43 and the 19 are going to be a factor. And I don't think the 7 can catch the 00. So barring a late race caution, I'm going to go ahead and say that this one is almost painted into the corner.
Well, let's see. It could be a paint by number situation, painted into the corner. All the good painting analogies, like you said, or we could end up with that late stage caution. Either way, let's see what happens here. 193. We are under 10 laps to go right now, folks. Thanks for joining us for this run. If you've been here for the entire time, all 200 laps, it was a great joy to have you with us. And if you joined late, well, you're here at the best moment. You're about to see what's going to happen as we wrap things up here in this 200-lap race live from North Wilkesboro Speedway.
And definitely had a great time here to Joe tonight. Here tonight, Joe. We came out here. I think we had one goal. That goal was just to have fun. This race was nothing more but for bragging rights to see who was the best at picking the winner. That was the only thing that we were really looking for out of everyone. And you two are losers.
Yeah. I think we might be here. 196. We're getting real close here. With that being said, let's keep an eye on the middle of that pack where some of our picks are still living. Greg Wachinski down 2 from where he started. He's in 5th right now. Just a little bit sideways, unfortunately, as it looks like he's going to be behind the 7 of Sean Signore and the 9 of J.C. Evans. J.C. Evans a little bit sideways as well, trying to stay up with the 7. Ahead of the 7, though, almost 2 seconds ahead of the 7, it's Charles Van Scoik looking to win this one if he can. And back the pack that's chasing him, the 9 is making a move now into the 7. Door contact. 7's into the wall. 9 and 7 are side by side. Signori and Evans. Signori on the inside right now, on the outside, excuse me. He falls back. Evans moves up a little bit, takes the spot, doesn't quite have the lead. Looking for the spot, doesn't have it, falls back again. The 29 of Mark Sanchez is going to push him forward.
This is incredible.
What a pass.
Man, it's almost like we were sitting here watching a traffic jam and a race broke out.
Oh, wow, it's happening again.
Side of the 70, he's going to keep it pointing in the right direction, chasing the 9-9, trying to get everything done. He is right now being scored in second place. Can he catch the 00? Don't think it's going to be Sun at 2 to go right now. All bets are off. The 43 car, the only thing between the 00 and the victory lane, there is literally nothing in between him. He just has 2 laps to go, staying behind the 43 of Paul Olsen. The 19
that was the
has...
That was the white flag that waved. Actually, that was the last lap, and it looks like it's going to be across the line for Charles Van Scoik. And I think that's the race, actually.
That's race.
That's all she wrote.
And Scoik, your winner here tonight for the ISCA All-Star event in sunny North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. J.C. Evans coming in second, Sean Signore third, Greg Wachinski for 5th place, Kenny Powell 6th place is going to show Mark Sanchez, 7th David Gervais, 8th place Randy Drumhiller, 9th place Paul Olsen, Jay Hone in 10th, 11th place shows Jose Medina and Bacon. Zelenka brings it home in 12th as we're watching the 00 burn it down in celebratory fashion, because he has all of the rights tonight. The bragging rights there are. We're going to rate this quick burnout, but put it in reverse, and after that, we're going to take a quick step away to get a word from our sponsors. Watching this burnout right here, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Please stick around for the post-race show. Charles Van
Keeps it
Scoik.
off the wall.
I mean, that's a pretty solid burnout, Joe. I'm gonna have to go ahead and throw that one on up there with a 97 from Big Al.
I will. I'll give it a 97. I'll give it a 98. Why not? I like these nice tight concentric circles. I like that he's not hitting the wall. Professional.
Professional. All right, burnout done. We'll be right back after these words.
Hey, we're back, folks. Welcome, race fans, to the post-race show of the ISCA Super Cup Series. It's Jolo up in the booth with Big Al and Kobe, and we just watched 200 laps of North Wilkesboro Speedway, and now we've got up in the booth with us a few of the gentlemen who went ahead and made all of that possible. And we're going to start by talking with Sean Signore. Sean, how are you after that 200 laps, my friend?
Man, I'm wiped, dude. I need a Gatorade and a back rub.
the prescription of the gods right there, I think, after a 200 lap race. Are you used to this these nice long short track races? Has it been a while for you?
It's been a while, I typically just run the officials and stuff, so those things never go green, so I'm not used to anything more than 20-30 laps sometimes at these short tracks.
Yeah, you guys went green most of the way. You only had a little bit of dust up there. You yourself were one of the guys who was racing pretty hard during the majority of that race. So was happy to see you guys all keep it clean and make it as far as you did. You went from the pole position, only back a couple there. But did you think that maybe you had it? You think if you came back a second time, you got it in you to win one here?
You know, I felt like me and Chuck were pretty evenly matched for most of the race, and but he was able to save his tires a little better than I was, and got away from me there a couple times. And that last stop, I had to take 2 to get out in front of a couple of the guys that were in front of me, and that killed me late in the race. But yeah, I feel like either one of us could have won the race for sure, and I'm just happy I won the pole. That's all I came for.
Well, you got your goals done early, my friend, and congratulations to getting them done and to picking up the 3rd place finish. Anyone you want to shout out to or thank tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out my boy Vincent, man. He's not here tonight, but he paints all those cars for the 4 Horsemen, as you guys call us, and it's been really cool to be a part of a little bit of a team that's got some sort of organization. And now the cars look great every week, and I'm sure you guys take notice and agree. So I want to give him a little shout out.
Good. Well, I'm sure that if he's watching, he's going to shout out right back to you, my friend. And we look forward to hopefully having you up here on Victory Lane again real soon, okay?
10-4, good seeing you guys. Have a good night.
Hey, 10-4, take care. I'm going to pass things. That was Sean Signori, everybody. I'm going to pass things over to Big Al, and he's going to talk to JC Evans. Take it away, Big Al.
Hey, JC Evans, Big Al up in the booth. He got me.
I got you, Al.
JC, man, probably one of your biggest fans and your harshest critics, my man. I don't know if you go back and watch these things when you're done with them, but you'll always hear Big Al throwing his comments out there about you. Well, tonight, JC, you did what Big Al wants you to do. You brought this thing home at the end of it. You always run strong early, but tonight you finished strong. Man, how does it feel to get that 9 car on the podium here?
Oh, it feels great, especially with the way these cars were driven in height. These were a challenge to not only drive, but also to pass.
Yeah, definitely. Passing looked like it was something very difficult down there. Did you feel your car was... Where did you feel you had the advantages tonight?
I'm not real sure, because, I mean, I knew on that last run there, toward the end, I was faster than Sean, but I don't know if I was any faster than Chuck or not. And then, of course, I had Greg and Mark behind me catching up, too, so I really have no idea where I sit on speed.
Yeah, because you actually made a risky move, and I think it might be the move of the race had you actually won, but you had 4.4 seconds in the box on that last stop. What did you do in the box for just 4.4 seconds?
Honestly, I thought I only took 4 tires, so I don't know what I
okay,
did.
well, all right. My bad. That's what it shows on my stats, but okay. I thought you might have short-pitted it. But yeah, congratulations, though.
Thank you.
Oh, you shouting out tonight here for your 2nd place finish.
I got to shout out to my wife, Erica, for letting me do this each week. You guys in the booth, you do a fantastic job each week. Kenny for on the league, my teammates at G&G Racing, and a shout out to Kings Island Amusement Park, one of the best parks in the country. And pretty much like all the drivers that stood up tonight, we kept it nice and clean. And congrats to Chuck on the win.
All right, boss. Congratulations again to you. And as I always say, don't party too hard, JC. And we'll see you back up here next week.
Thanks, Big Al.
All right, I'll take things away there from you, Big Al, and I'm going to talk to our race winner, Charles Van Scoik. Charles, how are you?
Doing good, guys. How you doing?
Hey, we're doing real good, man. Probably not as good as you, though. We just went 200 with everybody out there, and you came out on top. Congratulations on winning it out here in virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway. Were you prepared for this week's race going into the short tracks and the mini stocks?
Not at all. Last night in one of my other leagues, we had our all-star race here, but in the next-gen cars, so did probably 125 laps here. Today, in our team chat, there was no with the incidents counting, it not being a point points race. A lot of us were going to set out, and I didn't decide to race until about, 25, 30 minutes before tonight. When Sean, put a post in there saying, "Oh, I'm the only one going to race tonight." So I said, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. And came out and, felt pretty good. This car is lot better than the next gens on this track. I mean, I was able to arc it in, find different angles, save a lot more tire than everyone else. I knew I had to fend off the first 10, 12 laps of anybody who was behind me because, pretty equal speed all the way around. And then once they started burning their tires, I started entering a lot higher and then letting off a lot earlier and entering a lot higher and then gunning it out, which was giving me, I was losing about a tenth going into the turn, gaining about 2/10 or a little over a tenth every turn coming out. So that was the basically the pace and the strategy the rest of the night.
All right, bit of a trade-off there that you were dealing with, but it sounds like you found the groove and you really started to show them how it was done there at the end. You had a good lead going by the end of that race. Was there anybody you thought maybe was going to give you a little run for your money at there? Did you feel pretty confident by about halfway through this that you had things locked up?
The only time I felt that I didn't, have it locked up was obviously I stayed out. I still felt confident when I stayed out because everyone was fading a lot faster than me. So I figured if I could just hang in the top 3 on older tires, I'd eventually get past. But then when me and Sean, I have never run this car. This is the first time I've run this car, I think, ever. I'd have to look. Maybe when I was trying to gain my license, maybe once or twice. I don't even know if it was around. But my depth or what, I thought I had enough room. He said he was all the way at the bottom. I don't. But once I got a little sideways there, with older tires, back to 4th, I think, and then I ended up getting the lead before that last caution came out. And I think if it would have stayed green, I still would have won there as well because I was pacing pretty good and, like I said, just able to save a lot more tires. Even though I stayed out, I think I had 11 laps on my tires. Probably the wear started canceling out pretty quick.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, you were able to conquer all and win it tonight. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out to or thank for your performance?
Yeah, to you guys for the broadcast. I do rewatch. It's very good. I appreciate the try and the correct pronunciation of my last name. I appreciate it.
Yes.
There you go. And then to the admins of the league, it's I joined, there was like 30 some guys. There's a little transition, but got a lot of cleaner with certain people not in here, so that's good. And then to my team, Straight Arrow, we swept everything, full stages, win. So it was a good night, and thanks Sean for basically being a trooper and making me feel bad for leaving him out there, so I decided to come out.
Well, we want to thank you for your performance tonight, for putting on a great show for everybody. Once again, everybody, Charles Van Scoik, the winner of tonight's race. Charles, you take care. We'll talk to you real soon, okay?
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye now. And that's going to do it from us here at Virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway. Big Al, how you feeling after that race, my friend?
Man, I think I'm done. That was an awesome race, man. Great all-star race. Thanks for the guys for coming out, giving up their time, making that thing happen. Thanks for Kenny for giving us a place to talk about it, the drivers giving us something to talk about. Thanks for you for giving me somebody to talk to. Thanks for Kobe for screwing it up, giving us something to talk about as well. And thanks for our fans for actually joining in and being a part of this. And thanks to all of our sponsors as well. And as I always say, don't party too hard.
Hey, don't party too hard, but do remember to party and have a good time, folks. But party responsibly. I will say that. I had an excellent time as well. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of short track racing, and this was a good one to cut my teeth on a little bit, do some calling, and hopefully if we get another chance to do some all-star racing or some for fun races in the future, you'll be here to join us, folks, and we'll be here to call it for you. So this has been Jolo and Big Al and Kobe up in the booth. We're going to Charlotte next week, and we hope that you join us there. So, folks, this was the ISCA Super Cup Series from Thursday nights. You've been an excellent audience. Take care and good night.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade, and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving, and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues, because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since.